You're listening to BitTalk, a podcast about Bitcoin, money, freedom, and the ideas that matter. I'm Mike, and I'm here for the signal, not the spin.
Hey, I'm Lauren, and welcome to BitTalk. Let's jump in.
So, Lauren, we've spent a lot of time on this show talking about Bitcoin's fixed supply, its network effects, the theory of sound money. But today, I want to get grounded in something real, a real story. Someone living through hyperinflation, using Bitcoin not as a bet, but as a lifeline.
Yeah, I think that's exactly where the conversation needs to go. We can talk about scarcity as a math problem all day, but the real test is, does it work when the system around you is collapsing? And I don't mean, does it make you rich? I mean, can it help you survive?
Right. And the answer from the people actually doing it is both encouraging and complicated. So let's set the stage.
Bitcoin Veterans is building a community where service, purpose, and Bitcoin come together. Through education, events, podcasts, and meetups, they help veterans connect, learn, and find a new mission in the Bitcoin space. Learn more at bitcoinveterans.org.
All right, so imagine this. You wake up, check your bank balance, and by noon, your salary has lost half its purchasing power. Not in a year, in a single day. That is the reality in countries like Venezuela, Lebanon, Sudan, places where the local currency is in free fall.
And it's not hyperbole. Venezuela's inflation rate has been measured in millions of percent annually at its peak. I mean, the numbers become almost meaningless. Zeros pile up so fast on your bank screen that you stop counting. But the human impact is brutal.
Let's put a name to it. There's a widely reported story, a composite from several accounts I've read, of a woman named Maria in Caracas. She had a steady job, a small savings account, and a family to support. But over a few months, her savings became worthless. Not devalued, evaporated.
Yeah, that's the key distinction. In a stable economy, inflation is a slow leak. You might not feel it month to month. But hyperinflation is a puncture. You lose everything if you hold the local currency. And Maria realized she had to find something else.
So she hears about Bitcoin from a cousin abroad. But, and this is the part I think people in stable economies miss, buying it isn't just a tap on an app. She doesn't have a bank account that's reliable. She can't just use Coinbase. She has to find a peer on local Bitcoins, arrange to meet in person, and hand over a stack of bolivars that might lose 5% of its value during the walk home.
And that's if the electricity holds, or the internet doesn't go down, or the exchange isn't blocked by the government. The operational hurdles are real, but Maria does it anyway, because the alternative is guaranteed loss.
Exactly. Her first purchase is small, just enough to test it. And Lauren, here's the moment that stuck with me. When she converted her bolivars into satoshis, she told a reporter, she didn't feel rich. She felt a few seconds of certainty. That's the human moment right there.
A few seconds of certainty. That's beautiful and heartbreaking at the same time, because in a hyperinflation economy, certainty is a luxury. So Bitcoin gives her a window, however narrow, where she knows her value hasn't been stolen.
Right. Now, let's talk about how she actually uses it day to day. Most of the time, she's buying Bitcoin as a savings vehicle. She puts whatever she can spare into satoshis as frequently as possible. It's a way to escape the devaluation trap.
But here's the problem, and I want to be honest about this. Spending it is much harder. Merchants in her area are hesitant to accept Bitcoin directly because the price fluctuates. So if she needs to buy groceries, she often has to convert her Bitcoin back to bolivars through a peer-to-peer exchange, and that can take a 10% cut.
So it's not a smooth replacement for your wallet. It's more like a leaky lifeboat. But when the ship is sinking, a leaky lifeboat looks pretty good. And some people are using Lightning Network for smaller transactions, though adoption is still low in those regions.
And that brings up a key operational lesson. Bitcoin works best as a store of value in this context. It's less effective as a medium of exchange, especially day to day. But even the partial solution is transformative. Maria can preserve her labor value in a way the local currency simply doesn't allow.
Let's step back and make the contrast explicit. We talk about Bitcoin as sound money a lot on this show. But here you see the counterexample in real time. The state can print, but it can't force value. The Bolivar didn't fail because of a technical glitch. It failed because the government inflated it into worthlessness.
But Mike, I want to pressure test that a bit. Even Bitcoin's volatility can be devastating. If you need to spend tomorrow, a 20% drop hurts just as much as inflation, doesn't it?
That's a fair point. Volatility hurts, sure. But here's the difference. Inflation is guaranteed. It destroys all holders equally and continuously, with no escape. Bitcoin's volatility is directional. It can go up or down, and over time, the trend has been upward. With hyperinflation, the loss is certain. With Bitcoin, the risk is real but not predetermined.
And that's the arithmetic. Fixed supply doesn't matter for a luxury good. It matters when your savings are being diluted at 50% per month. For Maria, the choice isn't between a stable currency and a volatile one. It's between guaranteed destruction and a fighting chance.
So let's look at the outcome. There's a concrete contrast I read about. One family kept their savings in bank deposits, another shifted to Bitcoin early. The first family saw their purchasing power drop to near zero. The second managed to preserve a significant portion of their wealth, even through the chaos. It's not a perfect solution, but it's a real one.
And that brings us to the regulatory angle. Governments in hyperinflation zones often try to clamp down on Bitcoin to preserve capital controls. In Venezuela, there's a state-run crypto scheme that competes with actual Bitcoin. In Lebanon, some shops that accept Bitcoin thrive despite banking blocks. It's a cat-and-mouse game.
Bitcoin Veterans is a group of military veterans, and Bitcoin advocates focused on education, community, and helping veterans build purpose and resilience through Bitcoin. From podcasts and meetups to resources and events, they're creating a place for veterans to keep learning and keep growing. Visit bitcoinveterans.org to learn more.
And we're back. So, Lauren, looking forward, if Lightning matures and better on-ramps develop, could Bitcoin fully replace the broken monetary system in these places, or will CBDCs smother it?
I think the honest answer is it's too early to say. CBDCs are a threat because they give governments more control. But Bitcoin's borderless, censorship-resistant nature is exactly what people need when their government is the problem. The future depends on infrastructure. Better wallets, more P2P exchanges, offline capabilities. For now, the lesson is simple. A fungible, borderless, scarce asset outperforms a depreciating monopoly currency. That's not ideology. It's arithmetic.
Arithmetic. I like that. So to wrap up, the real user story shows Bitcoin works operationally as a savings tool, less so as a medium of exchange. But even that partial solution is transformative. It restores agency, allows people to preserve their labor value, and offers an opt-out from systemic theft.
And to the listener in a stable economy, don't take it for granted. And if you're in a hyperinflation zone, know you're not alone. Others have found a path. It's not easy, but it's possible.
Thanks, Lauren, and thanks to our listeners. Thanks for spending time with us on BitTalk. Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep stacking knowledge.